2022 was an absolutely insane year for the entire crypto industry, with crypto markets getting absolutely decimated, major cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum being down 75% from their all-time highs, some altcoins being down over 90%, major disasters like the Terra Luna blow up and the FTX collapse. It's easy to feel like this entire space is just dead, like everything's completely over. Trust me, I get it. I've been through multiple crypto cycles myself. I remember how terrible things felt back in 2018, 2019, but what happened back then I think is going to happen again, where this space continues to rapidly advance despite cryptocurrency prices being down. And I think a lot of those advancements are happening now. And so this video, I want to talk about some of my top 3 predictions for the crypto space in 2023. I'm going to talk about all this as a blockchain developer myself who works this technology on a daily basis and has been in this space for a very long time, watching many of these technologies come out of nothing. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you learn how to master blockchain step-by-step to finish, land your first blockchain developer job, increase your salary past 100K, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about some of my top predictions for the crypto space in 2023. Again, I do expect this space to rapidly expand, and there's lots of things that are going to happen inevitably at some point, but we are in the very early innings of this entire technology, and some of these things are taking multiple years to actually play out. So I want to focus on the things that I think can realistically be accomplished within the coming 12 months. Again, none of this is financial advice. I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information, but I am going to give you my thoughts on the actual crypto market in terms of prices at the very end of the video. So make sure you stick around to find out. All right, so my number 1 prediction for the crypto space in 2023 is that we're going to see rapid adoption of blockchain technology on the layer 2 ecosystem, okay? So what does that mean? Well, basically this means that Ethereum is going to continue to be a market leader at the forefront of what's happening in the blockchain space. That was true in 2018, 2019. I think it's true again today in both of these bear markets. But particularly with Ethereum, it's going to be around the layer 2 ecosystem. So, you know, what is that? One of the most common complaints with Ethereum is it's too slow, it's too expensive to use. And its long-term strategy for scaling is to create a layer 2 scaling solution. This is like a separate blockchain that depends upon Ethereum, where essentially you do the transactions, you get this scaling benefit of better, faster, cheaper, but it settles back on the Ethereum main chain itself. So I want to pull up a diagram of this transactions per day across the entire layer 2 space versus Ethereum so that you can actually witness this trend taking off, and I expect this trend to continue off in the next 12 months. So you can see different layer 2s on here like Optimism, Arbitrum, et cetera, Those are some of the 2 popular ones. Those are optimistic rollup technologies. And you can see the aggregation of all these transactions has flipped the amount of daily transactions on the Ethereum main chain. So basically what that means is more transactions are occurring across all the layer 2 ecosystems relative to the Ethereum main chain today. And that trend has, come out of basically nothing over the past, few years. And you can see that it's now flipped Ethereum, and I expect this trend to continue over time. Another important point here is that, it looks like Ethereum mainnet transactions are declining. They're not really declining, I don't think. I think what's happening is that some of that market share is essentially getting moved towards layer 2s. And so it looks like it's cannibalizing that activity, but that was still the long-term vision for quite some time, and I expect this trend to continue to take off. And if you look at it in long terms, that gives you a pretty good idea of what has happened. All right, so my next major prediction for the crypto space in 2023 is that Ethereum is actually going to unlock its staking for the people who are running nodes and proof of stake on the mainnet. And I'm going to tell you what I think that's actually going to do to the Ethereum price here in a minute. So let me give you context for this. So last year, Ethereum switched from proof of work mining to proof of stake consensus mechanism on the blockchain. Okay, so that means that in order to validate transactions, you'd run a node and then you take your Ether, 32 Ether, and stake it to the network in order to process transactions on the network. Now, you cannot currently withdraw that Ether from your validator until it's unlocked. And I expect that unlock to happen in 2023. Now, a lot of people are actually concerned that the unlock is going to cause the Ethereum price to dump, okay, or the Ether price. So, at the time I record this video, ETH's about $1,200. We're trying to figure out what's going to happen next with the market. And there's a big concern that, this could be the thing that causes ETH to break that support that it's kind of showing around this level and potentially put in a new low, because the whole idea is, these have been locked up for some time. The deposit contract for the Beacon chain went live towards the end of 2020. So that means that if you deposit Ether at the beginning of 2020, back when it was like, I think $500, something like that, and then now you can at least get 2x in return on your money, that maybe you want to withdraw that because it's been, locked up for about 3 years. But my expectation is this will not have a significant effect on the Ethereum price to the downside for a couple reasons. Number one, people who locked up Ether in 2020 were probably not trying to sell that anytime soon. They knew the risks. Number two is that, the price is barely appreciated at this point since they locked it up, or at any point that you might have locked up. And the more likely case is that people are actually at a loss at this point. And so the attractive incentive doesn't look like, trying to dump that Ether unless you needed to cover some costs. Maybe if ETH was trading at, $4,000, it would be attractive to dump it because you could have gotten a nice big return. But I don't think so at this price level. Now, the caveat to that is some people inevitably will unstake their Ether and sell it. That's totally fine. But I think what's going to happen is you're actually going to see growth in ETH staking once it's liquid that can heavily offset that sell pressure. So what do I mean by that? Well, basically, I think that more people are going to want to stake Ether once it's liquid. So that means that you can stake your Ether and you can always unstake it anytime you want to. Right now, you can't. It's locked until an undetermined amount of time, but I think that time's going to happen in 2023. But once it becomes completely liquid, I think it's going to attract more people. It's going to offset that because think about it this way. Ether has a ton of potential for the long term. Not financial advice, but essentially buying at these levels is way more attractive than it was, closer to all-time high. And if you can stake that for passive income and you can always withdraw at any time, it greatly reduces the risk. And I think it can attract more people into Ether, the asset itself. And so in summary, I think that staking unlocks are going to happen in 2023. And I don't think it's going to have a massively negative impact on the price. In fact, it could actually have a positive impact on the price. All right, so my next big idea for 2023, next big prediction, is that we're going to see a greater move towards decentralized finance or DeFi and a bigger usage of that than centralized services. So why is that? Well, we kind of see a perfect storm for this. Number one, people are trusting centralized services less and less in the crypto space. We saw, FTX completely blow up. We saw, Celsius blow up. All these centralized custodians who take your crypto and store it for you, not your keys, not your crypto, the old adage, we've seen a lot of them just absolutely collapse, and it's ruined the trust for lots of people. So we have decentralized finance alternatives where essentially you can store funds in your own wallet in a non-custodial way, and then you can use those assets for trading, for savings, lending, whatever, anytime you want to without that centralized risk. And so number one, you have that distrust building up, but number two, you actually have real alternatives where you don't actually have to depend upon those services in order to get the benefits. So let me look at a couple examples here. One of the most common things people use centralized exchanges for is to get into the crypto ecosystem, all right? But we've seen a ton of innovation in this regard. If you go to Uniswap, they recently just added the ability to just buy crypto directly on the website, all right? If you just put in some sort of card details or something, you can buy crypto. It's in your wallet, and you can instantly start swapping, and boom, you're in the crypto ecosystem. Same thing for MetaMask, okay? MetaMask recently partnered with PayPal to where you could just buy crypto on the MetaMask mobile application with PayPal, and then boom, you're in the crypto ecosystem. You don't have to use a centralized exchange for that. Now, another argument that I hear for the reliance upon centralized exchanges is they have better advanced trading tools. But as we have this scalability with layer twos, and we're starting to see, more advanced DeFi exchanges like GMX or DYDX, okay, where you don't have to do things, on a centralized exchange like this. You can do most of the same stuff like using leverage, perpetuals, and all these advanced trading tools. You can do a lot of that stuff on chain. Now, the last major piece of the puzzle here, in my opinion, is the ability to get out of crypto back into fiat currencies so that you can, transfer some of those funds to any real world application that doesn't currently accept payments in crypto. So my long-term thesis on that, this is not necessarily for 2023, is that number one, we just need a good solution for that doesn't rely upon centralized exchanges. The other is, as the world becomes more crypto-friendly and people accepting crypto to pay for things, then you're going to remove a lot of the need for that type of problem. All right, so my next major prediction for 2023 is that we're going to see NFT adoption really pop, and probably some sort of NFT use case that really hasn't clicked yet is probably going to click. All right, I feel like this space is really ripe for a next leap forward. So NFT saw a huge boom, especially in 2021, kind of spilling over into 2022. And, a lot of people are skeptical on the sidelines going like, this doesn't make any sense, right? These are just pictures on a blockchain. I can right-click save this, right? So, I would agree with a lot of those points, although I do think there's some value in NFTs in terms of the artwork and the communities. But I'll let you all duke that one out in the comment section below. But what I'm most excited for NFTs over the long term is, the ability to model real world assets, okay? Things like intellectual property, things like physical items like real estate. We're just scratching the surface for what we can do with NFTs. And so in 2023, I predict that we're going to see greater adoption, perhaps in a new novel use case for NFTs that hasn't quite clicked yet, or one of the existing use cases, maybe even gaming, really taking a next step forward. All right, so my last major prediction for the crypto space in 2023 has got to do with crypto regulations. All right, I'm going to get to my thoughts on what that's going to happen to crypto prices. That'll be a bonus here in a second, so make sure you stick around for that. But my final thought here, before I talk about price, is what's going on with crypto regulations. So, for the past couple of years, regulations have been in the forefront of the conversation. One of the reasons that crypto is such a gray area right now is we don't have regulatory clarity on what you can and can't do in this space for many things. All right, sometimes pretty clear, but sometimes pretty ambiguous. And my prediction for 2023 is that we're going to see one big thing get regulatory clarity in 2023. I don't exactly know what that thing is going to be, but that's my prediction. And one of the reasons I think that's going to happen in 2023 is I think all the blowups that have happened over the past year with FTX, with Terra Luna, with Celsius, et cetera, have really brought crypto to the forefront of the conversation, in Washington and, in the United States. And I think that's accelerated the regulatory conversation. That's why I think we're going to see something come down from on high in 2023. I don't exactly know what that's going to be. Now, my view on regulations is always that, I think crypto can exist just fine without further regulations, but I'm a realist in thinking that they're going to come and that the best thing we can do is try to get the most favorable outcome that we can. And once we get that clarity, it could suck in the short term because it could negatively impact the crypto space in some way. But I think there actually can be some benefit to it because a lot of people who are sitting on the sidelines that don't want to participate because they don't know what the regulatory is, once that gets clarified, it could potentially give them confidence to move forward and potentially attract more people into the space once that clarity is on the table. All right, so now on to the bonus. All right, what is my prediction for the crypto market in 2023? I'm just going to take a quick scan of CoinGecko here and look at the current prices. Maybe I'll come back to this video at the beginning of 2024 and see what this front page looks like, see if we're all laughing at how bad these predictions are for the actual prices. But I'm going to do my best, all right? So as always, preface this, not financial advice, not telling you to buy or sell any crypto based on this information. It's really hard to predict 12 months out exactly what's going to happen with crypto prices. But if I just have to make some type of prediction, gun to the head situation, here's broadly what I think is probably going to happen, all right? So I would expect 2023 to have probably some significant volatility associated with it. But if you look at over the entire 12 months, I would expect the trend to be probably mostly flat. All right, so what are my justifications for that? Well, number one, the amount of downside risk left in the crypto market seems kind of small on the grand scheme of things, okay? Could this space get cut in half again? It definitely could, all right? But that potentially, introduces a risk-reward scenario where a lot of people are going to just pile money in because the upside at that point is way bigger than the downside. The space gets cut in half. So if we do have another drop down, maybe in Q1 of this year, maybe even Q2, I expect that dip to get gobbled up pretty hard, which would probably at least bring us back to where we are right now in terms of price. Now, in terms of upside, okay, so, could crypto 2x from here this year? We could see a pump in the crypto markets like we saw in 2019. The question is, will that pump have any staying power? Will it ultimately lead to another uptrend? Well, that's hard to say. That's going to depend on a lot of factors like what's going on with the broader economy, because that's been the big story for crypto over the past 12 months. This point is basically what's happening with interest rates, what's happening with the stock market, what's happening with the recession. And it's hard for me to think that those conditions are really just going to magically improve over the next 3, 4, 5 months. Now, we could see some significant progress in 6 months. And I've always said that basically one scenario that almost nobody talks about is essentially crypto having this, this pump that inevitably happens throughout a bear market. And then whenever that pump happens, it coincides with, market conditions improving. And once those market conditions improve, then, that, creates a new uptrend at a place that most people didn't think was going to happen. So that is one possibility. But my least likely scenario in this case is that crypto just rips back to a new all-time high, in 2023. It just doesn't seem super likely with the information that I have available to me right now. Now, again, it's really hard to predict exactly what's going to happen 12 months out. The world can change really fast, as anybody can see over the past 2-3 years. And I, of course, will update my thesis on where 2023 is going to head, months into this process as I have new information. But that being said, if we do see a, maybe slightly bearish or even sideways year, that can be sort of a accumulation opportunity to get ahead of the next wave. Again, not financial advice, but, the money is made in the bear markets, and that could give you some time to, accumulate some crypto over the next 12 months if that's what you want to do for the long term. All right, so those are my top predictions for the crypto space in 2023. Now, the good news is, if you're watching this video, is all the opportunity in this space is for people who have technical skills, who has special skills that can actually create wealth in this space. The space belongs to the builders. Blockchain is one of the highest paying fields in tech, regardless of what's happening with the crypto prices. And so if you want to change your career and become a blockchain developer, I can show you to do that. So, the first thing to do is definitely smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel so you can see more videos like this and tell YouTube that. And if you want to get your hands dirty with this, how can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find those free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those videos, you want to take the next step, or hey, you maybe want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you a master blockchain step-by-step start to finish. Land your first blockchain developer job, increase your salary past 100K over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You really don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.